Hello, the stream. Greetings. Greetings, traveler. Ah, God damn it. Piss off. Don't fall. Hey, what's up, Alex? Welcome, welcome. Well, I'm glad I inspired you to get back into the game, Shay. It's a really fun game. Well, if they're actual zebra socks, it's pretty clear to me that zebras have always been white with black stripes. What? Well, I actually just finished, but I was formatting the hardcover edition of The Alchemist's Touch, which is something I haven't gotten to yet. But I just got the print version of the paperback. So the way that the sequence goes is that I format the paperback, right? And then I actually order one because it's free to set this up. CreateSpace lets you set up paperbacks for no cost whatsoever. So I set this up and then I order a copy. And a copy costs the author like $6, which is weird. It actually, like, this book costs me $6, but if you buy it, it's $12.99. But what I get isn't $12.99 minus $6. What I get is like $2.50. Not exactly sure why that is. But so that's why when you buy autographed copies from me, I buy this for what do you call it, for $6, and then I sell it, and that way it's like it's the same sale price. It's $12.99, but it's a signed copy, so it's the same price, but it's much better for you and it's much better for me because it's signed for you and costs the exact same, and it's a bigger profit margin for me. Anyway, how that why that matters is that once I get the physical copy, then I go through it again, because you can see things in your physical book print that you can't see in a digital proof. Now, not that there's anything to correct on this book because I've been doing this for a while, so I kind of know what the fuck I'm doing. But since I checked this out and and it was all good, now I just finished formatting the hardcover book. So there you go. That's what I was doing. But now we're getting into the actual book. Although actually, before we do that, I'm going to take a very quick break and grab myself another beer. And I will be right back. And we're back. Nice. Well done on being productive. Shay. You're in Paris, isn't it? No, Prague. Paris or Prague? I don't remember. Paris. Right, I remember. Paris. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. You're back home now. Home is Prague? Sorry. I'm bad at keeping track of these details. Ugh. UK, awesome. Oh yeah, Hertfordshire. Great, great, great place. Well, Shay, I feel your pain on that one, but I want you to remember that British conservatives are like the farthest right-wing liberals that have ever existed in America. So, 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 I have it worse. Hey, what's up, Carl? Yeah, our conservatives are that plus, um, I don't know, plus a whole bunch of things. They range from we should abolish the government to gay people should be shot to death. Sorry, stoned to death. Nobody is saying we should shoot gay people to death. There's people who think we should literally hit them with stones until they are dead. I don't think Dave feels that way at all. Dave is like amazingly liberal. I actually think he's more liberal um than either Johnny or Sean. Dave is actually, and I say this like I know this sounds weird, but Dave is actually probably the most compassionate person at Sterling and Stone. Like the darkness in his soul stems from the fact that he cares so much. Which is just a terrible thing to say, but like it's true. Are you serious? You actually don't know about you've never listened to Sterling and Stone or any of that? That's crazy to me. You should definitely pay attention to everything they do way before you pay attention to anything I do. Oh, David Cameron. Yes, he seems like a Cameron seems like a what do you British folks say? He seems like a pleasant bloke. I'm not making a political video. I'm not being political. I'm staying out of politics. I'm not staying out of politics. I'm terrible at even trying to stay out of politics. Dare, what's up, dude? We're working on a book again. How awesome is that? I'm just going to say, whoa. Whoa, Shay. Yeah, I get tired of talking about politics very quickly. I have nothing but respect for people who actually go into it as a career, trying to make a difference and do good things, as opposed, obviously, to the people who go into it looking to make a career so that they can benefit themselves. Because it's just, oh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Yeah, that's probably wise. Yeah, it gets me going too. I made the mistake of getting into a political debate on Facebook the other day, a couple weeks ago, and I swore it off. I was like, I'm not doing Facebook anymore. I ended up calling people that I know personally in real life. I ended up calling them fucking idiots and just like ranting at them for being, well, for being fucking idiots. And I was just like, cool. So now I can't go to any friends' parties for like a long time. Yeah, that's the thing. For one reason or another, I was brought up with friends and parents of friends who were all really conservative, like really, really conservative, like not just financially conservative. I totally get people who are social liberals and financial conservatives. Like I really like, I understand that. That's a political position that I really respect. I'm not fully on board with that viewpoint of the world, because I think that a lot of government expenditure does lead to good outcomes. Some of it doesn't, obviously, which is why I understand the people who are like financially conservative. But the extreme social conservatism, I have a real problem with, and that's usually where I get into trouble, because I am connected to a lot of like really, really conservative people socially. And I just can't stop myself from getting into it. Yeah, like libertarians. Like I no longer I used to consider myself libertarian. I don't consider myself libertarian anymore, because I feel like there's a lot of, I don't feel like the Libertarian Party is as bad as the Tea Party at all, but I feel like the influence is kind of starting to creep in. Like people who are like, get rid of the government, and it's like, whoa, whoa now. Let's just dial back, unclench the buttocks just a little bit. Yeah. Right, exactly. Like that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. Like and I just, I'm a lot of people that I am connected to just because friends and friends of friends and family of friends and all that sort of thing are like the sort of people who are like, gay marriage is destroying the country, and I'm just like, I can't talk to you. I cannot talk to you. We can't have a conversation. No, you're totally right, Dare. It's just that a lot of, yeah, and this is again just like a personal experience point, but like a lot of my friends who proudly claim the libertarian tag are like, we shouldn't have any government other than the president, Congress, and the judicial system, which is just like, oh, okay, I guess, fine that you think that way, but like, no, I disagree. But like I have like, yeah, seriously, like that's the thing is like, like there, okay, so like that whole thing of like the best form of government is a benevolent monarchy. It's just you can't keep a benevolent monarchy going. Like you can't. But I have friends who are legitimately like, I bet we could figure it out. I bet we could set that up. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, is that an actual political aim of yours? Setting up a monarchy in hopes that it will be benevolent forever? Ah! Why? And don't get me started on the libertarians who are like, less government spending, but we have to keep our defense spending up because we have to destroy Islam. Right, like the concept, like that whole discussion about benevolent monarchy is the best form of government is really valuable as a thought exercise. That's what it is. It's a thought exercise. And when people take that thought exercise and try to actually like put it into practice, I'm just like, nope. Nope, not the point. Not the point. It's a thought exercise. That's amazing, surgeon guy. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning these days. And of course, my extremely social, extremely conservative friends are like, socialism? I'm like, you don't understand. You just don't understand. You don't get it. Sorry, but you don't. Like my general, tactic when I'm talking about politics with people is just like look at what every other country is doing. Like all of them. Like just look at what they're all doing. They're like, "Yes, but Greece." I'm like, "Dude, Greece is a whole nother fucking problem. Like a whole different can of worms." And the fact and the reason we can tell that is because you say Greece and not Europe. Like I say look at Europe and they say, "Yeah, but look at Greece." And it's like, "Okay, look at, fucking Sweden and Denmark and in some matters compared to the US, the UK and France and Germany. Like look at these things. Look at them." And then I say Germany, and they're like, "But look at Hitler." And I'm like, "No, look at Germany now. Look at it now." Ah! Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. 100%. Ignoring the fact, completely ignoring the fact that, yeah, anyway, whatever. I'm not getting into politics. I'm not talking politics. Ah. I think we could really use a focus. No, I don't want to talk politics. I want to write books. Oh, God. Dr. Surgeon Guy, I see what's going on here. You're literally trying to kill me. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, don't get me started. Oh, you want to know how the book is coming along? That's my favorite command. Well, that's the people of Underrealm think that monarchy is great because their monarch is pretty fucking cool, and their monarch has been for a while. That's the political system in Underrealm, is a monarchy, but it's an elected monarchy in that. So you've got 9 kingdoms, and the 9 kingdoms each have monarchs, um, and when the monarch dies, their son or their progeny does not inherit the throne, the High King's throne. The 9 monarchs get together and they, what do you call it? They are the ones, they elect the new High King from among their own number. And obviously there's a lot of power politics that go into that, and like a lot of, political machinations and everything like that. But it's a system that has worked for Underrealm for, a couple of thousand years. So they're pretty fine with it. They're like, yeah, all right. I mean, every once in a while there's a war and border wars and all that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. There is no traditional sense of religion in Underrealm, and that is borrowed from Tolkien, actually, where there is no organized religion in Middle-earth. There are religious things like there is some degree of like worship of the sky and the moons and all that sort of thing, but there is no organized religion. And the reason Tolkien talked about briefly, he talked about why that was, why there was no organized religion in Middle-earth. And his theory was that in a world where magic actually exists and where there are beings greater than humanity, like in existence, which for him was the elves and the Maya and the Valar, and for me is pretty much just the elves. It's harder to rally people around. Again, I'm kind of getting into religion here, but it's really easy to rally people around worship of a god when there is hope of a god or the idea of a god, but like you don't necessarily see God's work being done around you all the time. So, in a similar situation, if that stuff already exists, then religion doesn't come around to explain why things are the way that they are. You get what I mean? So, yeah. Like in Tolkien's universe, there's the whole thing of like where the moon comes from. Like what is the moon? And it's a guy on a ship sailing across the world, holding a thing, like a jewel. No, that's one of the stars. That's a star, and it's like, where does that star come from? Well, that's a guy sailing across the sky in a ship holding a jewel that shines with the light of that star. Well, in Middle-earth, it actually is a guy sailing on a ship holding a jewel that shines with the light of that star, right? So that's not a religious story. That's actually what's happening. No, I don't think there would be an elf worshipping cult. Elves are like a force of nature. You know what I mean? And they're like, boy. On Earth, humanity is the top of the food chain. On Underrealm, humanity is not the top of the food chain. Elves are. So, like, if there was another species on Earth, would we worship them, or would we just try to get out of their way as much as possible? Would we be like deer, where it's just like, just get out of their way, just have nothing to do with them as much as possible? Yeah, that's cool. I think that religion can be a very powerful factor in fantasy. I guess that I didn't want... I think that if you include any element in your story world, like, it's got to have something to do with your story. And I don't want to say anything about religion. I'm not trying to say anything about religion. I do want to say things about gender politics and racial politics, which is why there are different races in Underrealm, and there are, genders. And I use them to make statements about that. But if there was just a religion for the sake of having a religion, George R. R. Martin has religion in A Song of Fire and Ice, and he uses it to make statements about religion and how religion works and what it is and how people interact with it and how it affects society. So good on him for doing that, you know? And he has patriarchy in his stories, and he is my favorite fantasy author in how he deals with patriarchy. Not in that I agree with patriarchy's manifestation in Game of Thrones, which is very real to real life, which is very similar to real life, but because he is using it, he doesn't just have patriarchy there and it's just an assumed fact. It's like everybody's like, well, that's just how it is. Like, he uses it to make statements about it, right? Every other fantasy is just like, well, of course a guy would be a king. Of course he wouldn't have a queen, a ruling queen. But he is like, but there kind of is a ruling queen. But then there kind of isn't, because she is a woman, she necessarily has less power, and people use that against her. And it's like a very kind of, it's a very pointed like jab at patriarchy. And yeah, he still has sexual violence against women and discrimination against women and all that sort of thing. But he draws on that from real life and uses it to make statements. So like, I like that, and I'm doing a different thing with those elements. So yeah. I actually made on the Smarter Artist podcast, I think I recorded an episode about this, if it's released already. Let me see. Oh yeah, okay. Well, there's an episode of The Smarter Artist called "How to Bring in Real Life," and it's me, and it's sort of it's talking about this a little bit, and it has to do with dealing with real life events and real life messages. Yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Alex, is like, a story has a message, so you might as well plan for what your message is. Um, and a story has a theme, and you might as well plan for what that theme is. And a lot of people don't agree with that at all. Um, yeah, like, well, that's the thing, is like, for me, for my mind, I want to try to say something with my story. And if I say this, if I tell the story and somebody interprets something completely different from it, they're not wrong, right? Like, they're going to they're going to have their interpretation. Whatever it is, they're going to interpret something from my story. If what they interpret is different than what I intended, they're not wrong. Like, let them have that. Like, once you have published the book, you no longer own the interpretation of it. You only own your message going in. And the other pitfall to avoid is that you can be just way too heavy-handed with your message. And the message dominates the story and the characters, as opposed to the characters delivering the message. You want your characters and your plot to be delivery for your message. You don't want your message to be the overarching. You don't want your message to be the most powerful thing in your universe. You want characters to be the most powerful thing in your universe. Nice. Awesome, Alex. Good job. Yeah, me too. I'm interested to see once the books start getting like, because the Underrealm books don't, like nobody's writing think pieces about the Underrealm books, right? But once that starts happening, I'm interested to see, because I'm trying to do something very specific with Underrealm. I'm trying to create a fantasy universe that breaks the tropes of fantasy, where women stand on equal footing, and there's no explanation for it. They just do. Where race plays no part in politics and whatever. And I'm trying to do that for a specific reason, because it's just I want to have a fantasy universe that's just different in that way from everything else. And I think that's cool. I think that's helpful, but like, you know, if it starts finding more female readers, if it starts finding minority readers and everything like that, do they agree? Do they think that it is well done? People who analyze books for a living, critics, all that sort of thing. What effect, like, I know what effect I was trying to create on readers. What effect am I actually creating? And I hope that happens before I finish the entire series, because I'm totally a fan of sort of learning from and adjusting from reaction to what you've been doing so far. I love it when Marvel does that with their movies and with their TV shows. It's like, we're in the middle, but fans are kind of saying we're doing something wrong, so let's switch it up. Let's change it up. Let's try and let's take what they're saying to heart and see what we can learn from it. By the way, I have some friends coming over who from out of town pretty soon. So I'm going to end the stream I'm going to end the stream relatively soon, but I will be back this evening. Really? I was not aware I did that. See, that's the sort of thing. Didn't even think about it. Did not think about it at all. I thought I said that Lauren was white. But yeah, if I didn't, I didn't. Wow, that's funny. Yeah, did not know I did that. Because I know that I described because what I remember, at least what I remember, unless I'm terribly wrong about this, I know I described Damaris and Annis, and Gregor, Jem, and Jordell. And I thought I said that Lauren was white, but yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to break that default. So, like, that is really valuable to know, because I did not know that at all. Um, Although, in the Academy journals, I will say this. Right, exactly. Like, that's not something that you see often. And I'm virtually positive that I described Jordell's skin color. But I could be wrong about that. And by the way, I had a thought recently that if I was casting, it might not happen by the time the Underrealm actually makes it to the screen. But if I was casting a film or TV version of Underrealm right now, I would try really hard to get Jimmy Smits in the role of Jor-El. He would be so utterly amazing. I know, Alex, was that ooh for Jimmy Smits? Because I don't remember how I thought of it exactly, but I just fucking love him as an actor. I love him so. He's so good. He's so good in everything. He's so amazing. And when I thought of that, I was just like, ah, ah, ah. Yeah, once you Google him, you'll probably recognize who he is. He was in the Star Wars prequels, which is no big claim to fame, but like everybody's seen him. So that's one reference most people recognize. He was in Sons of Anarchy, where he was great. He was in The West Wing, where he was great. He was in anything he was in, he was great. He's just amazing. So yeah. All right. My friends are here, so I'm going to end the stream. But I will be back at some point this evening to keep working on the book. We are going to burn through this book as fast as we possibly can. But thanks for coming and hanging out. I probably talked a little bit too much and didn't work quite enough. But yeah, that's only because you guys are so awesome. So thanks for coming by, Alex, Dare, Shay, Dr. Surgeon Guy. If I know who you are, and if I know your actual name, I apologize. I don't remember it right now. Who else was here? I think that's everybody who's been here on the stream. But thanks so much. Good to see you guys. And I'll see you hopefully later this evening. Bye.